I've always believed that there were several planes of existence, and we as human beings inhabit only one.
Now clear your minds. It knows what scares you. It has from the very beginning. Don't give it any help. It knows too much already.
This is Dr. Barry Taff, and you're listening to the Paranormal Journal.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Journal podcast. This is season 2. Yes, season 2. Oh, man. I'm up bright and early. Got me a nice cup of coffee. Kind of stuffy this morning. It's weather's goofy on the east here. 1 minute it's cool, next minute it's cold, next minute it's hot. Really weird. We've been in a drought here lately, so things have been a little weird weather-wise, but, we're pushing through it. So I'm here. Got me a nice hot cup of coffee on this Sunday morning. Paranormal, sit down. Don't have a guest with me today. I was going to have a guest on, but I didn't want to wake him up. So it's just me riding solo, talking about paranormal things. Some of our upcoming events, we will be going to the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. That's coming up in July 14th, 15th, and 16th. We will be at that event. We will have a vendor table. We won't be speaking at that event this year, but next year we will be speaking at it. It's going to be a blast. There's a lot of good paranormal folks going to be there. People that are the regular, average paranormal investigator that I really like. I like that Pam Berry has and her husband have designed this Paracon geared toward paranormal investigators, which is, the average paranormal investigator, people that are out there doing it every weekend during the week. I mean, we spend a lot of time doing this. We spend a lot of our time going out and talking to people, trying to help families and kids, and all these things are important. Excuse me. It's not just like you see on the TV shows. It takes a big part of our lives up, and we're out there doing it, and we've definitely have to have a good rapport with people and the community. So I really like this paranormal conference, this Paracon, this Gettysburg Battlefield Bash that's coming up in July. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to hear some of the stories and events that some of these other paranormal investigators and their evidence, what they've captured. I think that's very important that we share that kind of information and try to learn from it. I'm hoping that a lot of these paranormal people don't have a huge ego. I don't think they do from the people that I've met thus far. They've been very, very cool. I've talked to them online and on Facebook, and oh man, they've been actually very, very cool. Excuse me, a little stuffy this morning. But I think everything's going to go really well with this Paracon. It's my first time being there, so I'm very excited. Me and Tom will be there. It's going to be fun. I cannot wait. It's going to be very cool. We actually have another event coming up in September. We're going to be at the Hell House Paracon. We'll have a vendor table. We will be up there with Anna Marie Manello, talking with our book, The Unholy Structure, with her, based on our case files for the Harrisburg Area Paranormal Society. So if you're in the neighborhood up there, stop up and grab a book and check out our case file on the Unholy Structure. That's one of our case files. I'll sign the book for you, and Anna will sign the book for you. It's a really good book. She went into a whole lot of depth with it, and we are going to be working on another project with Anna here real shortly, getting out another book. So stay tuned for that. We're in the works with it. Just in the beginning parts of maybe sitting down and talking with her about one of our cases, and she's going to write another book about it. So that's going to be very cool. It's going to be fun. And we have another event coming up in November. We're going to do the haunted Fort Mifflin investigation. We already have a good bit of people signed up for it. We have about 20 people almost signed up for it already. So this is going to be good. If you want to go to Fort Mifflin, you want to experience some paranormal events. Fort Mifflin's the place. It's very, very haunted. A lot of deaths happened during actually it was a war that saved America there. A little battle that saved America right there. That Battle of Fort Mifflin, and we're going to be up there at the time when the battle was going on. So activity might be active. That's going to be in November 3rd, 2023 this year. So if you want to go, reach out to our website, log on to our website, and check out. You can go to www.harrisburgareaparanormal.com, click on to the Fort Mifflin investigation, and it'll send you a link to Tom Muller, which is our case manager, and he'll give you all the information, and you can pay right there. So it's going to be very, very cool. We're charging money to get into it, but it's costing all of us money to get into it. So we are going to be supplying coffee and drinks and snacks, and we're actually going to get some shirts made. And everyone that buys a ticket is going to get a shirt, a paranormal investigation shirt. So it's going to be pretty cool. So definitely check it out and go to our website, www.harrisburgareaparanormal.com, and check it out. So this Sunday's paranormal sit down, we're just going to be talking cool paranormal stuff. I got a case right now that I'm doing. I've been doing it for a while. It was a Taps family case. It's up in Klingerstown. Um, very cool place, and activity has seriously ramped up lately. Definitely talking about this today because it's been a lot of interesting things. Uh, when we first started investigating this case, this was brought to us by the Taps family, and it was interesting. It wasn't a whole lot of activity first, but now that we've been really digging into it, investigating it, and researching it, um, not a lot of things in the research that we're coming up with that would explain why the house is haunted. What's strange is, when we first went there, we had a few weird things happen. Not a whole lot of things, but now as we're progressively investigating it, and they're having a lot more experiences. With the initial case was we got an email from the Taps family, and it was basically saying, our house has activity. We're having this, we're having that, and one of the family members was attacked by an unseen force. Not really attacked, but it was his first time in the house. It was the brother of the person that has the house, and it's his first time in the house. He's just spending the night with his brother, and you're downstairs sleeping. They start hearing footsteps. They start hearing knocking on the walls and stuff, and he gets the brother gets scared. So he goes upstairs, gets his brother. His brother comes downstairs, and they both start hearing the knock, and they both start hearing the footsteps. And the younger brother gets scared, and he's like, I'm getting out of here. And he goes to the front door, and something grabs him by the shoulder, and spins him around back into the house as he was trying to exit the house. So, excuse me. That's an interesting thing. He got physically touched and grabbed and pulled around, and it did leave marks on his shoulder. It left it looked like fingerprints almost, or like scratches or something. It was weird. It was really red from what I seen in the pictures. and it definitely looked like he got grabbed, and he was definitely shaken up. He was crying and things like that. He just couldn't understand what was going on. So our initial investigation, not a lot of things happened. We had a few things happen that could have been paranormal. Uh, we had another new team that was with us, but we don't really deal with them anymore. So they were investigating it for a while, and we had gave it to them. They wanted we would give them to us back, but things didn't work out. So we took the case and just kept investigating. We've been investigating, so um, things have probably gotten more and more footsteps, banging, knocking on the walls throughout the whole house, and we just did a thing with Penn Live. Penn Live came up and shot a video with us, and of haunting, about haunting things in Pennsylvania, and it was pretty interesting. It was fun, and we did have a couple of experiences when we were there. I heard a voice. I let her hear it, and Claudia, she was the reporter. I let her hear it. She said, "Oh my God, I didn't hear that." I was like, "Yeah, and this is how these things will hide within the ambient noises of just us talking. You'll hear voices come in as we're talking. It'll talk over you sometimes while you're talking. You don't hear it, but on the recordings, it picks it up. And that's exactly what I was doing. I was plugged in. We were standing in the dining room, and all of a sudden, I hear a voice, sounds like a female, that says, "Get out." And no one heard it but me, because I was plugged into the recorder doing live EVP. They call it. I call it plugging in, but everybody in the paranormal field calls it live EVP now. So I hear it. I said, "Yeah, I just heard a voice. It was really low, but I heard a voice say, like, get out." So she said, "Can I hear it?" I was like, "Sure." So I play it back and I let her hear it. She's like, "Oh my God, I hear it. Definitely hear it in there." I was like, "Yeah, it says get out," right? She's like, "Yeah, I hear it." And it's fun to see somebody that's not a believer become a believer. Right then and there, she was like, "Oh my God, there's definitely another voice that we didn't hear." And you can actually see it on the video. We're talking, no one hears it. And I'm like, "Whoa, what's this voice?" And you see no one says anything, but I hear it. And it's interesting. It's cool. It's a really cool phenomena. EVP is electronic voice phenomena is a really cool phenomena. How they are able to, how spirits or whatever these things are able to manipulate sound waves and ambient noises to make speech is unbelievable. And what's weird is it's an intelligence behind it. It's not just like random. Excuse me. It's not like it's random voices. Some of this stuff, like you'll hear "Get Out," you'll hear "Help Me," you hear "Help Me" and "Get Out" a lot in investigations. I don't know why, but you do. I think these "Help Me's" are just kind of like lost souls or something. I really don't know, but I do get a lot of "Help Me's" and I do get a lot of "Get Outs" in investigations, and it's really weird. But a lot of times you get intelligent responses to your questions. You'll be asking questions in an EVP session, and you'll get an intelligent response. And to get an intelligent response to something you can't see, um, very, very interesting. It's not like you're using radio waves or CB radio or something. You're just plugged into a digital voice recorder and you're catching these voices. It's and intelligently, like you be at, "What's your name?" And it might say its name. "Can you hear us?" "Yes." Can you knock 2 times? Boom, but you'll hear knocks on the walls. Like we experienced it there. We experienced knocking on the wall. The homeowner, the client, said, Brendan, which he's one of our investigators now. He became one of our investigators, and he says, "Can you knock once for yes if you like me? You knock twice for no if you don't like me." And sure enough, 2 knocks, boom, boom. And the last time I was there, I figured out where those knocks came from, which it came from inside the attic door. We were messing around in there, and I said, "Hey, Carl, that knocking came, Bill, one of our investigators, had a recorder with him, I was in another room when I heard the knock, and Bill and Tom were in another room, and they were in his son's room, and the knock was really clear where Bill and Tom were, but where I was, it sounded distant. And Bill's recorder picked it up, so I knew it happened in that room. So I have Carl just knocking around. I said, "Knock here, knock." He opened the attic door. He knocked inside the attic door on the door jamb, and it was the sound. It was identical. I'm like, that's where the sound came from. I said it came from inside the attic door. That's why it was so clear on Bill's recorder. And it takes some investigating. You really got to check things out when things like this happen. Where the hell did that come from? There was nobody in the attic. And we did record a anomaly in the attic on a camera that Bill had. Uh, and it was a station actually called two anomalies, which was pretty one was a manifestation, another one was a like a manifestation. It was interesting. Sorry about that, folks. I'm stuffy as hell today. Um but yeah, there was two manifestations. One, there's a manifestation just comes out of the dark. You see the video, there's nothing there, and all of a sudden you see a manifestation of something coming out of the darkness. It produces itself, it manifests itself, it creates itself, and it's there for a few seconds, almost like it's looking at the camera, and all of a sudden it goes back out of existence. It's interesting. Now, are these things on some kind of other dimension? That's what I'm thinking. That these things can, you know, move in and out of other dimensions. There are other dimensions, folks. We live in a 2 and 3D, three-dimensional dimensions. There are other dimensions. They're proven by scientists that there are other dimensions, like fourth dimensions, fifth dimensions. There are these other dimensions. So, are these things traveling on these dimensions? That's why I think in a lot of places, when you go into a house, there is activity, but it's only at certain points because these things are traveling in and out of dimensions. And I know it sounds totally crazy. I am one of the most logical people when it comes to paranormal investigations. I really like to sit down and something happens. I definitely don't jump to conclusions that it's a ghost. I don't go into a paranormal investigation thinking that this place is automatically haunted. You always have to take everything with a grain of salt and really dig into the paranormal investigation. Is there something paranormal? Are these banging noises? Are they expansion and contraction of the house? Is it animals that got a squirrel maybe got in the attic or something? You know what I mean? You have to really take all this stuff into consideration. If you don't, you could go into the house and give people a lot of false positives, and then you got people using these stupid ass phone apps. It drives me fucking crazy that I see people using these phone apps. Um, and I know some of these people listen to the podcast and hear me talking about it. I've talked to real engineers that build paranormal equipment, and they all said that the phone apps are a big pile of bullshit. But people are still using them in paranormal investigations, and they're using the Ghost Box, the Vox, the freaking stupid SLS that's not really an SLS camera system whatsoever. It's just, God, it's irresponsible for one, and for two, you're making yourself look like a complete ass using that thing, but people are still using it. We have a case now that we're doing in July, that some paranormal team went into a house using phone apps, using stupid shit, and telling these people there's 30 ghosts in the house, and there's demons, and there's they got rid of this ghost, they got rid of that ghost. Give me a break. Like, come on. This shit is serious, and they're coming about it like a television show or something. They shouldn't even be doing this stuff, for one. But if you're out there looking to do this like it's a TV show, then you're definitely in it for all the wrong goddamn reasons. You shouldn't even be doing it. Unfortunately, a lot of paranormal groups, they come and go. That's just how it is, and some people stay the course with this for a long time, and some people don't. This is how it is. Um, but people need to be very responsible of what's going on when you're in an investigation, especially when you're dealing with kids, you're dealing with clients. Stuff is really important. Like these are people's lives you're messing with. You go telling them some false shit, and things can get really bad. One, you're creating an environment for the client now that they're afraid. They're already afraid, but you go in there talking about there's demons and all this other crazy shit. You're just making it a hell of a lot worse for them. Now you've just created an environment where they are super, super scared, and it just doesn't make any sense to do that whatsoever. Don't do that because, like I said, are there demonic things out here? I don't know. I've never seen any. Some people will say they've seen them. I've never seen them. Some people say they've been in possessions and cases like that. I've never seen any of that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying it's not real. It's highly possible. I really don't know. This is a phenomena that we don't understand. And could something physically take your body over? I don't know. Is it scientifically possible? I don't know, but possession has been around for a long time. Kind of getting off the track of the case, but just trying to put it out there about these stupid freaking phone apps I keep seeing everybody using. It drives me crazy. Really does. They're stupid. They're not. It's not paranormal equipment. It's a phone app. It's designed to listen to you. This SLS system is bullshit. And if you're using those, if people out there are using them, and you're just getting into investigating, don't use that shit. Be careful what you're doing. These things can be dangerous. There are things that can follow you home, and paranormal shit will happen in your house. It does happen. It's happened to me. You definitely have to tread lightly with this stuff. It's a serious, serious business. It's not a game. It's not a TV show. This shit is serious. This stuff can get serious. It can get dangerous. And anybody that'll tell you that's a real paranormal investigator will tell you you got to tread very lightly in this stuff. You can't be doing a whole lot of provoking and things like that. You got to be careful, especially if you're going to people's homes. You got to tread lightly with this stuff. There's kids involved. There's families involved. They're already scared. There's no sense in making them more afraid than they have to be. So back to the Clingerstown case. Interesting case. Things have really sparked up in this case, and we're now starting to experience a lot of disembodied voices. We heard a woman in the house out loud. We had TV on. Brendan said a lot of things happen when he's just sitting there watching TV. He'll hear footsteps tromping through the house upstairs, which I experienced the footsteps in the house several times now. So I did hear it. I mean, the house is small. So if you hear footsteps coming through the house upstairs, you hear it. I mean, it's pretty loud on the floor, and you're like, yeah, that's definitely footsteps. And the last time, well, second to the last, we've been there a bunch of times, and we're steadily investigating more now because the activity is really increased. So we're trying to get a grip on what's really going on and trying to figure out what's really going on in the house. But did someone die there or something? We're getting really weird EVPs in the house, like he killed me and things like that. I've heard a couple EVPs saying he killed me in the basement, in the dining room. We're actually catching EVPs on our cameras as well. There was no one downstairs, and we hear a voice in one of our cameras say, I should have been dead. And it's really weird. We're upstairs. The camera system that I'm using, the audio recording is very good up close, but if you get in a distance far away, it's really shit. It doesn't work that well. But anything close, it picks up really well. And this voice comes into the camera. It's a man's voice, says, I should have been dead, like right into the camera. And there's no one there. We're upstairs. And the whole time when you're watching this video on these cameras, excuse me, you don't hear us upstairs. You can't hear us because the audio is not that good on it. But the video and audio is good. The video is great, but the audio kind of sucks at a distance. But anything close, it picks it up. And man, it picked up a bunch of really good voices close to the camera, really clear. One, like I said, one said I should have been dead. Another one was like, "Oh, you hear help me." And one time Tom comes down to change some batteries or something, and he's changing batteries in his recorder and some of his other equipment, and you hear a female say, "Hello, Tom," in the camera, and he doesn't even hear it, but it refers to him. Now, mind you, we don't have any women with us, and we I've heard the woman out loud too, as well, disembodied voice out loud, like there was a woman standing there, and there was no women in the house. His wife was gone. It was just me, the client, and another investigator, two other investigators. And what happened was he had the TV on. As he said, a lot of things happen when he has the TV on. He's just watching TV and you hear all these noises and bangs. And so he has the TV on, the volume's down really low. And he said, well, right before he says something, you want, Tom said, you want to go upstairs? And I was like, yeah, what the hell? I don't care. And as soon as he says that, we hear a female voice said, turn the TV off. And Brendan's like, I'll go turn the TV off. Excuse me. And I'm like, did you just hear a woman's voice? And Brendan's like, no, I said I'll turn the TV off. And I was like, no. Before that, I heard a woman say, turn the TV off. And Tom looked at me and goes, yeah, I heard that too. I heard a woman. And I'm like, it was a woman's voice, right? He's like, yeah. I'm like, it definitely wasn't you, Brendan. And I said, there's no way it was you. And he's like, you sure? I'm like, dude, I'm positive. And we played the recorder back, and you hear it right before he says it. It says, turn the TV off. And then he goes, well, I'll turn the TV off when we go upstairs. And I mean, it's awesome. It's a disembodied voice. It's loud. It's audibly. It's incredible. And there is no women with this, but you hear a woman say, turn the TV off. It's very cool. And we went upstairs, and things just got even progressively weirder that night. I was plugged into my headphones, listening for EVPs, live EVP. And I'm in the daughter's room, and something grabs the headphone on my left ear and pulls it off, and it pops down onto the side of my head. And I'm like, whoa, what the hell? He's like, what? I was like, dude, something just pulled the headphone off of my ear. And he's like, really? And I didn't hear it at the time, but the recorder picked up a voice saying, it was very, very cool. It just validated that it did happen. I knew it happened because I felt it pop back, it pulled off my ear and popped back down to my face. And I'm like, wow, that was very, very cool. And we actually captured another voice in there. It says some derogatory stuff that I'm not going to say on here, but and it was referring to me and Brendan, and I did not hear. And that voice is so clear. It's like there's another man in the room with us, and I didn't hear it, and he didn't hear it. I was like, "Did you hear that voice?" And he's like, "I didn't hear it until I actually went home the next day and was listening through the audio, going over a review with the stuff that happened, and I did not hear it until I was reviewing, and I listened to that, and I'm like, what? I did not hear that." And I gave Brendan a call. I was like, "Did you ever hear that when we were in your daughter's room?" He goes, "I didn't hear that." I said, "You hear that man's voice, right?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "That's not my voice, and that's certainly not your voice." He's like, "Oh my God, what the hell is that?" I'm like, "I don't know, man, but there's definitely a voice that I don't know how I didn't hear it when it happened, but it sounded really, really close to me in the recorder." and it definitely had a derogatory statement directed at me and Brendan. It was crazy, and that's when we started getting knocking noises, and we wound up capturing a manifestation in the attic. Bill caught it on one of his cameras, and he sent it to me. He's like, "What the hell is this thing?" And I'm like, "Wow." And the second manifestation happens. Bill's in the attic, and he's stopping his recording system and starting it over again. And he's walking back toward the stairs. He goes down the stairs, and you see this thing. I don't know what it is. It looks like well, it looks like a kid to me. It's small, and it comes out of the dark and comes behind Bill and right down the steps behind him, like it's following him. And it's a really cool piece of evidence that I seen. I'm like, wow. And Bill was like, that's crazy. I don't know what the hell that is. And I tell you what, I went and bought one of those camera systems after I seen that on his. I'm like, I gotta have one of these, and I bought one. So I have one now. He has one. So we're gonna really start, you know, plastering some areas with this cameras. And it was interesting to catch it on something like that. I did not expect that, and we got it, which is cool. I'm like, this is very, very cool. Um, but here recently, last week, the client called me, and he's like, "I finally seen it," and I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "I seen it today, broad daylight. Seen the manifestation in the house. He's seen it up on the second floor." Uh, he said he was sitting in his chair watching TV, and he hears stomping coming through the hallway upstairs. There's no one upstairs. He's hearing stomping, like heavy, footsteps, boom, 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 coming through the hallway. He said, I looked over and I said, what the hell was that? He said, look, he leaned back in his chair, and where his chair is situated, he can lean back and he can look up his stairs to the second floor. So he said he leans back in the chair and he's looking up the stairs, and there's this figure. It's bent over. There's a wall where stairs go up on each side, and it was bent over at the wall, looking down at him. So he's looking up, and it's looking down at him. And he said it was black, and it had a kind of like a glowing aura around it, like a really weird aura around it. It was glowing, and he said it looked. He said it seemed like it was a couple minutes, but it was only a few seconds. But it was there. It was looking. You could tell I was looking at him, but it didn't have any facial features. It was just black. He said all of a sudden it just ducked back out, and it was gone. But he actually made contact with it. And then he called me again yesterday, on Friday night, and we talked for a while. My phone died right in the middle of talking. So if you're listening to this, Brendan, sorry, but my phone died. Um, he seen it yesterday during the day again, this time at the front door where his brother was attacked by, well, not attacked, but he was grabbed and spun back around into the house. Um, he's seen it again. This time he sees it. It's at the door, and it's there. This silhouette, and he said, and it got so bright that it like blinded his eyes, and he kind of like rubbed his eyes because it was like this blinding light around it. And when that happened, he said he opened his eyes back up, and the thing went into itself and disappeared, almost like anybody that's up in age. Back in the day, we had the tube TVs, and when you would turn it off, the picture would go inside of itself, and there'd be like a little dot in the middle of the TV, and then it would finally fade out. Well, this is what this entity did. It kind of like closed in on itself, and it disappeared. And he said again, it had this illuminating light around it, but this time it was like a rainbow kind of light around it that was really bright and illuminating. And he said it got so bright that he couldn't see. He said it blinded him for a few seconds. He was like, "What the hell was that?" And when he opened his eyes back up, it was kind of going back into itself, and it just blinked out of existence. that's that's amazing. That's really amazing. We're going back up there, and we will be putting some cameras out. And I'm going to leave them there, and we're going to try to catch this thing on film. I want to get this thing on film really bad. I want to get it. I'm going to get it on film. Um, I just want it for the whole part of the research aspect of it, that people can see this stuff really exists. I have a black mass that I've caught on film. Talk about it a lot on here because I think it's one of the most amazing pieces of evidence probably I've ever caught in paranormal investigating. Um, but to have something like that where you see a figure, you know, back then camera systems weren't really that good. They were grainy. They were shit. They weren't very good. But the cameras we have now are all high definition, really clear, and I really would like to get something like this on film now so you can really see in better detail what these things look like. Um, if you can get these things on the cameras we have now, dude, game changer. I mean, you're going to see a lot better picture, different things that you've never seen before. And this is a good opportunity in a house like this where we can probably catch this thing on video. Caught this other manifestation on another camera system that's shooting in 3 dimensional, which is really cool. Bill's camera was shooting in 3 dimensional when we caught it. It was in 3D. Very very cool mapping 3D system, and I wound up buying one, and I've been testing it out in my house. That thing is freaking awesome. I love it. It's a new 2023 model too, so it's got a lot of upgrades to it, which is awesome. Um, it was expensive as shit, but you know this is the kind of stuff you know you got to buy this kind of stuff if you want to try to capture it on film. So I mean, not like you're going to capture a ghost and put it in a trap, but it's capturing it on film. Uh, I think it's going to be a game changer with this kind of thing. You know, it's been around for a while, but you know, this newer stuff they're putting into it, it's 3D mapping is really cool. Um, and it's definitely you definitely leave it like a static camera. And what Bill caught on there was very very cool. I was shocked when I seen it, and because he says like, "What the?" You know, he's like, "WTF is that?" You know, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, but it's very cool. I mean, it's coming into existence. It's popping out of existence. It's pretty awesome. It's some things that are involved in this paranormal thing that we really don't understand. Um, it's not a simple thing to explain. It's this stuff is very complex and on a level we're not ready to comprehend yet. Uh, a lot of paranormal investigators are experiencing this phenomena. If you're really out there investigating, you're experiencing it. I don't know what some of the purposes of people out here, what they're doing as far as paranormal wise. If they're trying to gather evidence or they're just doing it for a ghost hunt. You know, I don't hunt ghosts. That's not what I do. I'm a paranormal investigator. I investigate paranormal phenomena. I'm not a ghost hunter. I think it's more professional to say that you're investigating paranormal phenomena. You're researching it. You're documenting it. If you're going out just for the thrill of it, I don't really know what your purpose is. I mean, you're kind of playing with fire with stuff like that. Um, Now we do fun paranormal investigations, but also we're in these investigations we're gathering data as well. It's not just we're running around in the dark with flashlights and provoking things and stuff like that. We're gathering data and evidence to try to figure out, you know, what the hell's going on. That was weird. What the hell was that? Um, Let me get a shot of this coffee real quick. Ah, damn, that's good shit. Um, But yeah, we're trying to gather evidence, and the more we gather, I mean, I have files and files of paranormal things, audio, video, there's, you name it, I have it when it comes to paranormal investigating. Um, and this Klingerstown haunting thing is it's interesting, man. There is a lot of stuff that's ramped up from when we first initially went to this house till now, and it's been a couple years now. We've been investigating this little farmhouse. It's just a little farmhouse, and I can't explain what something happened there. I don't know what it is, but uh, as far as research wise, it doesn't really give you a whole lot. We do know a female passed away in the house, and I'm thinking that's the woman we're hearing. Um, she wasn't murdered or anything, but she did pass away, and there's a lot of I definitely heard her without a doubt. It was disembodied voice of a woman. She seems really nice. Um, Not to say that that's what it is, but it could be something posing to be something else. You know what I mean? It could be something mimicking a woman's voice, or it's that's the thing with this stuff. It's really unpredictable, and we don't understand it. But there's definitely a phenomena there, and you just don't know what the hell these things are. Are they dangerous? It's possible. It's already been physical a couple times in the house. Uh, the homeowner just got scratched recently upstairs, and he could not explain what happened. Bathroom doors slamming. I mean, I've yet to see that happen when I'm there, but it definitely happens because I definitely believe the wife. I definitely believe Brendan. Brendan is a veteran of the United States Army, so very, very dependable guy. Very nice guy. He's a very kind-hearted guy. Um, and the things that are going on in that house, I think they're starting to affect him. Definitely affect his well-being. Um, he's, right now he's just trying to wrap his whole head around what the hell is really going on because things are really ramped up in the house. So, and we're trying to figure it out as well. Can you bring in someone to try to get rid of it? It's possible. You know what I mean? I don't know if it's possible or it's not. I'm not going to say it is because I've been in a lot of investigations. We've had a lot of priests and people blessing homes, and the stuff never really went away. It just got worse after a while. It went away for some of them go away for a while. The activity, decreases, and then all of a sudden it ramps back up. And why? You know what I mean? Why? I mean, you can't tell someone you're going to get rid of something when you really can't understand and see what the hell's going on. I never tell a client that I can get rid of these things because I really can't give a guarantee if it's going to go or it's not going to go. You know what I mean? It's either going to go or things are going to get worse. You have a 50-50 chance. Is it going to work? Maybe. 50-50. Is it going to not work? Maybe. You know, there are no definitive things here that you're going to say you can get rid of. It's not going to work that way. I'm telling you, it's just not. It's an unpredictable phenomenon that we really truly don't have a grasp on what the hell creates it. Is it someone? Is it someone that died and somehow their physical body's gone, but the subconscious mind lives on? Is that the case? I seem to think it is, just because of the things that I've experienced, the communication between myself and this unseen phenomena that's highly intelligent and talks and it's mind blowing. You know what I mean? Like you're in the dark. I know it seems like silly as shit, but you're in the dark and you're asking questions of something that's not there physically that you can't see, and you're getting responses to this person or whatever the hell it is. I really don't know what it is, but it's strange. And you're getting responses to this stuff intelligently. There's some other intelligence that's going on here, whether it's alien technology or it's real ghosts or it's a loved one that's passed on that's communicating, without a body anymore, which it's crazy. You really sit down and think about it and you're like, how the hell is this phenomena even possible? How does someone communicate now without a body? You don't have a voice box anymore. Your physical body is gone. Everything you is gone. And that's the sad thing about death. I mean, we're all going to be there one day. It's all going to happen. We're all going to take that journey. We're all going to die. That's a fact. We're born to die. I think that's the scary part about life in general is, I guess once you get that in your head that, you're definitely going to die one day, it's going to happen. Once you accept that, I think it makes it a little better. I guess I've been afraid to die for since I was a kid, and I'm starting to come to the realization that there is something else out here, and the paranormal investigations and helping people have made me feel better about there is something else after you die. I don't know what it is. Is it heaven? Is it hell? Is it dimensional? I don't know, but I definitely think that there's something else out there after you pass away that the physical body's gone, but somehow the energy in your body and your subconscious mind, it lives on. It truly does. There's still this intelligence that moves on to this other dimension, this other step of life. You know what I mean? It's more than it's bigger than we know. You know what I mean? This is way bigger than we really, really know. Um, and that's the fascinating part about what we do is this stuff is so much bigger than what we know. Uh, unfortunately, I've never seen one of my loved ones come back from the dead and talk to me and see him in person. And, I'd love for that to happen. I've never had it happen. People say they come to you in dreams and things like that. Have had weird dreams about family members, but I was thinking about them at that time, and you start thinking about people that you love that passed away. You're probably going to dream about them as well, and I think that's what happened. A lot of psychic mediums will say they come to you in your sleep. Sleep is in a dream state. They can communicate with you better. That might be so. You know what I mean? I really don't know. I really don't know. I don't have an answer to it, and I don't think anybody really does. I know the phenomena exists for sure. Um, I'm experiencing it. I have experienced it. I've seen really weird things. Now, like I said, I've made a lot of mistakes along the way with paranormal investigating, but I've definitely learned from them. And I'm not the greatest paranormal investigator that ever walked the face of the planet, but I do care about what I do. And I'm not going to give somebody a bullshit explanation or something. I really want to figure this stuff out. I'm not a scientist. The stuff that we do is a pseudoscience. It's not even considered a science. It's considered a pseudoscience, but scientists don't look at it as a real science. You know what I mean? They don't even touch on it because they can't understand it themselves. So, they're not going to touch on something that they can't recreate in a lab somewhere. It would be amazing to recreate a paranormal event, but we don't have enough understanding of it to even attempt to recreate a paranormal event. We have no idea that these things are unpredictable. You never know when they're going to happen, how it's going to happen. I've said it a million times. You just don't know when it's going to happen. Why did it happen now? I mean, you being the case, And all of a sudden, had things happen all night, and then all of a sudden, you hear a voice come out of thin air, disembodied voice. Why did that happen then? Why didn't it happen the whole night while you're investigating? It happens when you're breaking down, or you're just getting started. You don't even have anything set up yet, and you'll hear a voice out loud. Why did it happen then? You know what I mean? Like, what caused that manifestation of an EVP to happen at that particular time? What environmental conditions happened to create that phenomenon? We don't know. We know EMF is involved. We know static energy is involved. Um, but that's about, we know that they can manipulate sound waves. They can manipulate energy. It, it's such a, I'm telling you, folks, you get into this stuff. It's like when they talk about going down a rabbit hole, you're going down a goddamn rabbit hole. Like, that's a serious statement. When you hear someone say you're going down a rabbit hole, your ass is going down a rabbit hole when you get into paranormal investigations. If you're really into it and you're really researching and doing your review, it is a rabbit hole. There is no doubt about it, man. You're going into Wonderland. It's amazing. You'll have more questions than answers. I've been doing it a long time, and I have way more questions than answers. I really do. I know this phenomenon exists without a doubt, 1,000%. It exists. Are they ghosts? In some levels, I think there are things that, like I said, these people that pass away, their subconscious mind lives on. But it's answering things in some of these cases that are directly involved with people that lived in the house, people that lived there, people that died there, family members, names. I can't explain that. I cannot explain that. I don't know the history of the house, and I'm asking things, and it's giving you names, and you start researching it, and then these names are associated with the house, and you're like, how is this even possible? How does somebody die? They're no longer here, but they're here. You know what I mean? It's so wild, man. Like, this stuff is so wild, and it will have your head spinning like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. I mean, it's crazy. It is totally crazy. And the more you do it, the more wild shit happens, and you're just shaking your head. You'll go home shaking your head like, I can't believe this shit just happened. Like, I can't believe we're experiencing this phenomena. And it's amazing. It's truly amazing. I'm going to get Brendan on here talking about his experiences, and I'll let you guys hear it, firsthand from him, and let him describe it, because what he was describing to me is pretty amazing. And you know, it's just weird. It's totally weird. Like, you're trying to get your head around this shit, and you're like, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, why is it black? Like, is there not enough energy to manifest and do things? You know what I mean? Like, I, I I don't know. Is there not enough energy to produce what it looked like? You know what I mean? What it looked like in real life. You know what I mean? Like, maybe that's why it's black, because it doesn't have enough energy to produce what it used to look like. You know what I mean? Or this person it was, which is it's crazy, because I've seen these black things quite a few times, probably around 3 or 4 times, and I cannot explain what the hell they are. I don't know what they are. I cannot tell you what they are. Are they people that were alive at one point and now they're ghosts? I really don't know, but I know I've seen them on 3 or 4 different occasions, and it's kind of unnerving. You're almost like in a trance when you see one. You don't, you can't really move. It's weird. I know, people, let's say a lot of different things about seeing shadow people, but man, when you see one like close, you're frozen, man. I hear a lot of people, oh, I'll go running after it. Yeah, yeah, sure you will. Um, I'll believe it when I see it, because I'm telling you one thing, I've seen it and I was and I've seen it more than one time, and I was frozen, like I couldn't. My body functions were not moving. I was like looking at this thing, and it's looking at me, and dude, I was freaked out. I'm not even gonna lie. I was just standing there like, what's gonna happen next? Like, I don't know if this thing can kill me or hurt me, or I don't know, man. You know what I mean? It's a weird ass thing. You start seeing this kind of stuff, and you can't explain it, and then it just disappears into nothing. I mean, what the hell is that? You know what I mean? What is that? That's why I love talking about paranormal things and the stuff that I've experienced, because I've experienced a shit ton of stuff over the years that I really can't explain. And I've been fortunate. I think, people that experience this kind of stuff, you're lucky. You're really lucky. And it's a gift, to be honest. It's a gift that you experience this kind of phenomena of people seeing, if you've seen a full bodied apparition in your life, um, it's you're really lucky. You're really lucky, and it's a blessing that you've seen it. You were meant to see it for some reason. I think all this stuff is for a reason. Some of these cases that we do, I think you're there for a purpose. You're definitely picked to be in that location and experience the phenomena you're experiencing. It's like a choosing of people they want to. It's weird. I know I'm sounding kooky, but there's just so many weird things that are involved with it. Um, like I said, man, you're going down a rabbit hole. You're down the rabbit hole in Wonderland with it, and the more and more you do it, the more questions you have, and I just want an answer. I really want an answer to it, and I strive to try to find one. With all the stuff, I just keep compiling it and documenting it, keep compiling it, and I put it on file. And like I said, if anybody has a problem, I'm bullshitting. Hey, I can produce every piece of evidence that I have of what I'm talking about. I have it. If I said it happened, it happened. And I'm not here to bull anybody. I don't make any money off of this podcast. I do it because I like talking about paranormal things. I like to educate people about paranormal things. And if there's people out there that are just getting into it, just be careful. Be careful what you wish for, because sometimes these things can follow you home, and it can be a nightmare in your own home. It can be very, very scary. There are things, I, I like investigating, but I wouldn't want to live in a haunted house, because it's kind of like an invasion of your privacy. It's like you have this unseen uh, visitor in your house, this intruder, and you can't see it. It can see you and it can communicate with you, but you can't see it, which is the whole creep factor, like the invisible man kind of thing. You have this invisible intruder in your home, and you really don't know what it's capable of doing. Or if you're in the shower, or you could be in there just taking a dump or something, and there's somebody standing here watching me take a shit or something. That's just like weird. You know what I mean? Like, if you're being intimate with your wife, or I mean, it's like you have no privacy, and that's not cool. That's really not cool to have to live like that and wonder and worry if this thing is watching you at all times. And it could be. It really could be. We don't know. And are these things dimensional? I would seem to think they're dimensional. I think there's these, like I said, I think they're on these other dimensions, and that's why you don't see them a lot. They're popping in and out of these dimensions. I mean, my guess is as good as the next person's. I don't try to be TV about it, but I mean, I don't have an explanation for it. I think TV is a bunch of bullshit, and it's just for ratings. Um, I'd love to do a TV show and really do to the real brass tacks about paranormal things. And like I said, sometimes you're sitting in the house all night and you can hear a mouse pissing on a piece of cotton. It's so quiet. But then when you go home, you start reviewing things, and you're like, holy shit, I got EVP here. I got a voice here. I got, banging going on here. And I didn't even hear that when we were there. And it's amazing that you experience it and you capture it. You didn't even know you captured it. You go home and say, "Hey, man, like that night sucked. We didn't have shit happen." But then when you go home, you start reviewing, and shit did happen. You just didn't see it, or you just didn't hear it. But your recording devices captured it, and that's the amazing part about it. They're sneaky as hell. They're very sneaky. They'll creep in on you, and you next thing you know, you capture something, and that's the cool part. That's the reward behind the investigation, and the reward also is to see how happy the clients are when you're validating this phenomena to them, because they think they're crazy sometimes. They don't know what's going on. They're freaking out. They don't know what the hell's going on. They're just like, wow, I'm glad I got this validation that, yeah, you experienced the phenomena that I'm experiencing, which is awesome, and that's a validation. That's what we're there for. We're there to validate their claims and give them some kind of consultation of, hey, everything should be okay. Let's not freak out. Let's look at this on a logical level. You know what I mean? I know it's not logical, but you need to take a logical step to it and try to figure it out. The more you freak out with something like this, the worse it gets. Because now these clients are creating their own kind of weird manifestations in their head that there's demons and there's things, and that's where the whole thing comes in with some of these paranormal groups is, they're manifestating an evil presence in someone's house, and there's really not an evil presence. It's just something there. You know what I mean? Because you hear knocking on the wall. Damn cold. You hear knocking on the wall, or someone gets scratched, or maybe you smell a foul smell, you know, that you can't explain. That doesn't mean it's a demon. Not at all. I mean, you got to have a lot of evidence to back up the claims of demonic happenings, or demonic haunts, and things like that. But the television thing has got it so blown out of proportion, like that you get scratched. It's a ghost. 3 knocks on the wall. It's demonic. 3 scratches. It's demonic. I've been scratched 3 times. I've heard 3 knocks in the house. I've had all this shit happen. Foul smells. Nothing bad ever happened to me. And I didn't see a demon rise up out of the floor. I didn't see Lucifer himself. Not to say that these things don't exist. I'm not saying that. Because I don't know if they do or they don't. I'm just telling you what I've experienced, the things I've experienced. And I've never experienced a demonic haunting. Never. I've had shit that scares you. And I think it does it almost like a kick or something to scare you. Like they're getting a kick out of it. But to say it was demonic, nah, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not. I don't have enough proof to validate that. I mean, you got to have a lot of proof to validate that. But there's paranormal groups that go into places and say, "Hey, oh, you got a demon because our phone app, GhostTube, that's the famous one that everybody's using. Is this stupid ass fucking GhostTube app that I like to shove up the people's ass that created that. Um, it's a pile of shit, but people are using it in these investigations in people's homes and saying that their house is haunted. Dude, if you're a paranormal group out there and you're doing that shit, you need to stop, man. Like this is tube shit. This stupid phone app that you're fucking with people's lives, man. This is somebody's house. This is somebody's family. There's kids involved. There's families involved. And you're going in with your stupid phone app that has a not a real SLS system in the phone. The phone's not designed to have a mapping system in it. Sorry to tell you that shoots out like an SLS real system. You're an XLS system. Doesn't have that. Doesn't have 3D mapping in it. And they're using it, picking up a chandelier or a handle on a door, and oh, there's a ghost there. There's this is the 30th ghost we've seen. Come on, man. Come on with that bullshit. You need to stop. And this is serious business. To me, it's serious. Like this is a serious business. And and it's not a business. This is just a way of life for us, for paranormal investigators. I mean, this is a way of life. This is what we do. Um, so for people to use that shit and then go into somebody's house and you're basically conjuring up 30 ghosts that aren't there. That's basically what you're doing, because those stupid phone apps are picking up just anomalous bullshit, and people are saying that they're ghosts. They're not ghosts. The phone app, if people who've listened out here, if you're having paranormal events in your home and you call out a paranormal group and they bust out a cell phone with ghost tube on it, you better kick their asses out the front door. That's all I'm telling you. You pull up that stupid thing or that. I mean, there's so many ghost apps, the ghost radar, all this bullshit. You see them do that, you better kick them out of your house quick and get them the hell going, because they're not real paranormal investigators. They're a bunch of bullshit. They are bullshit to the third power. It's ridiculous. You know, they're not going to help you. They're going to make things a hell of a lot worse, and they're going to tell you some bullshit that there's 30 ghosts. You know, you got a couple demons. They're going to exercise those there. They're going to get them out of there. What's going to happen? Not. Definitely not going to happen. But this is the kind of shit that we deal with. Real paranormal investigators deal with on a daily basis. And you know, we lose cases to people like this because they're out here telling clients they're going to get rid of shit, and that's what people want. People want you to get rid of these things, but the whole truth of the matter is you can't get rid of these things. It's not as easy as people say they are. You know, oh, we're going to sprinkle some fairy dust in here and this shit's going to be gone today. No, no, I don't give a shit what anybody says. I've been in hundreds of cases, hundreds and hundreds of cases, and the shit never got any better. It only got worse, and then the people had to move. I mean, like I said, it quieted down in some frequency, but then man, it came back with a vengeance and got worse. And I never tell anybody that I'm going to get rid of something in the house. Like if they want to bring in clergy or something like that, sure, I'll do that on their request. But I won't say that I can get rid of a ghost, because we do not understand this phenomenon whatsoever. And for me to tell you that I can come into your house and get rid of shit is just, it's not even logical. And it's not even ethical for me to say something like that. I wouldn't do it. And I'm not going to do it. I'll help you as best I can, you know, consultate you, get you the evidence you need that, yeah, you do have paranormal phenomena going on in the house. There are things in here that we cannot explain that are going on. And I will exhaust everything I can to get down to the brass tacks of, yes, that is real paranormal phenomena. I cannot explain how that voice came out of thin air and said something, or that thing moved by itself. Just, that's how I'm going to go about how I do things. I'm not going to, this ain't a TV show. This is real life for me and my team. And we're going to give you the truth about shit. I'm not going to blow smoke up your ass and tell you I'm going to get rid of things, because that's not what I do. Unfortunately, everybody wants it to be a movie. You know what I mean? Even people like that listen to these podcasts and they have all these guests on there and they're, you know, demonologists and exorcists and things. And I've had exorcists on my show, and I like the part of it that fascinates me is that these are things that I've never experienced. Maybe these exorcists, you know, like Bill Bean and all those guys have experienced this kind of stuff. I've just never experienced it whatsoever. Um, I've been in a house where it felt negative. You know what I mean? Sure, you know, it feels negative because you're having weird shit happen to you and you're in the dark. Your mind can play a lot of head games, a lot of tricks on you, and if you let it, it can create a serious problem with you. It can create medical issues. You name it, man. Your brain is a powerful computer, man, that can create a whole lot of weird shit that you never thought possible. So, you know, it's our job to come in and dilute what's real and what's not real. You know what I mean? We got to come in and diagnose the problem. Is there some kind of paranormal phenomena going on? Debunking, was that bang the house settling? Was that bang something fell over? Was that bang outside? These are all things that we have to debunk before we can ever declare something to be paranormal. Some people go in the house and hear, a mouse running around in the ceiling or something and think it's footsteps. And, you be able to distinguish between this kind of stuff. And unfortunately, man, the paranormal field has a lot of good investigators. It has a lot of good investigators. It really does. But it has a lot of bullshit people, too. And these are the groups that don't last. These are the teams that don't last. They just run around and they'll go do the pay investigations. That's their whole MO is doing pay investigations. I don't do that. We do a pay investigation just for fun. Uh, but we're still collecting data for the fun investigation. We are collecting stuff, and if we have guests along, we do want them to experience something paranormal. Let them know if they've never experienced anything paranormal. Hey, if something happens paranormal, it's good because it lets them know that there's this other world out there that it's there. You can't see it, but just because you can't see it, that doesn't mean it's not there. That's a good quote that I like to say. Just because you can't see it, that doesn't mean it's not there because it's there and it's real. There's a real phenomena of paranormal ghosts, whatever these entities are, whether they're UFOs or aliens or ghosts, whatever they are, but it's definitely there. It's a real phenomenon, and I love it, and I love talking about it, and I like every part of paranormal aspects, UFOs and cryptids, even werewolves. Like our government is involved in a lot of shit when it comes to paranormal phenomena. I mean, they hired Bigelow to do a lot of things with ghosts and paranormal things, and I even read somewhere that the government has even been into researching werewolves and things like that. I know that sounds totally crazy, but I've talked to legitimate people that I know that have seen like these dogmen looking things, and I definitely believe everything they said because I know these people and I know that they're not full of shit, and they had these experiences and they seen them, and they couldn't explain what they seen, but there are these dogman looking things. There are these Bigfoot creatures that are out there that people are experiencing. The sightings are worldwide and across the United States, across the world. So, you know, it's kind of like this thing, one person seen it, maybe, you're talking thousands of people are seeing these things. It's not like it's one person seeing it. Thousands of people are seeing it. And our government will definitely try to dilute and hide everything about it. They don't want you to know that these things are out there because they don't want you to be afraid. Just like UFOs. And this stuff's all coming to surface now. The Roswell incident, oh, that didn't happen, back in the 40s. Now it's come to light. It really happened. Uh, so, is the government hiding all this shit? Of course they are. They don't want to. They don't want the public to be frantic. Yeah, how much shit they hide from the citizens of the United States behind everything. UFOs. I mean, you gotta think. I'm really big into UFOs. I really like reading and hearing people's experiences with UFOs. Like I said, I myself a UFO. I know what I seen. I saw it. I wish I would have had a video camera back then, but they didn't have cell phones back then when I was a kid that you could record this kind of shit. But if I could have recorded it, it would have been an amazing event. Um, are there aliens out there? 100%. Yeah, for sure. There is other life on other planets. You have to have a really, really feeble mind to think that there is not other life forms. If we're here, there are billions and billions of planets with life on them, without a doubt. We don't even know how big the universe is. We have not a clue. You hear scientists talk about, oh, what's this, is that. They have no understanding of the universe. Just like we have hardly any understanding of paranormal phenomena, they have no idea how many planets are out there, how many planets have life on it, what's their capabilities of reaching Earth. They have no idea. I can tell you one thing. There's definitely UFOs here. There's definitely aliens here. And they've been here for thousands of years. It's not like they just started coming. They've been coming to this planet for thousands and thousands of years. To think that they haven't, that's just stupid. You're not even thinking logical. And I'm not talking like it's you're watching a TV show, and you're basing your theory off of that. I've seen this shit firsthand. I've seen a UFO go from nothing, from sitting still to out of sight. I mean, I seen the direction it took off in. It made no sound, and it moved so fast, like it zipped out of sight in literally less than a second. And I'm talking, it traveled thousands of miles in less than a second, out of sight, no sound. There ain't an aircraft that we have now, back then, or ever that can move with that speed without someone being totally crushed and liquefied in about 2 seconds. Like, there's no way someone could withstand that G-force. And there's definitely some other kind of technology that's involved with these crafts, which Bob Lazar has definitely, he's huge factor in the UFO business right now, because, or anybody to that matter, because anybody that's worked out of Area 51 and seen these crafts, pretty amazing, man. The guy has a huge wealth of knowledge, and they tried to silence him, man, but he did the smart thing and he went public with it. It was smart because it protects him. It protects him from the government trying to get him and totally erase his life. Like, in other words, get rid of his ass, because he had a lot of information, and he's put a lot of information out here, and the government is still fucking with him. They're still fucking with him. They're still trying to get his ass. And thank God that he went public with it. You know what I mean? Thank God it saved his life. I guarantee you, if he wouldn't have went public with that, his ass would be gone. So, well, you know what, folks? This has been an interesting little Sunday morning sit down. Sipping here on my coffee. Take another shot of this. Oh, yeah. This has been fun, folks. It's been fun. Thank you for tuning in with me on the Paranormal Journal podcast on this Sunday morning sit down. It has been fun. I will definitely be back next week. Maybe we'll do something Friday night live. So come on back Friday night. We'll probably do something live. And then I'll come back on a Sunday and do the Sunday morning sit down, grab a cup of coffee, and have a Sunday morning sit down with me, and we'll talk paranormal. So, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Have a terrific week. And I will see you next week on the other side.
Well, I've been asking questions all of my life, but every answer I get, none of them I ever liked, no. I know we all living up on borrowed time, but it keep me up late at night and got me wondering why. Oh, I'm just looking for a reason. I don't need something to believe in. I just want life to have meaning, so I ain't wasting all my time. So will I see you on the other side? Hey, where do we go when we die? Oh, yeah, they get you with a smile. Hey, where do we go when we die? See you on the other side. Hey, where do we go when we die? Oh, yeah, they get you with a smile. Hey, where do we go when we die? What would you do with one more day? One last time before it all goes away? Where would you go? Yeah, who would you see? How would you make your last memories? Are you loving that life you've been living? Have you been taking more than you've been giving? You wanna grow the love you got to guaranteed if you wanna leave that legacy. Will I see you on the other side? Hey, where do we go when we die? Oh, yeah, they get you with a smile. Hey, where do we go when we die? See you on the other side. Hey, where do we go when we die? Oh, yeah, they get you with a smile. Hey, where do we go when we die? Every time I pass by, I see you catching flies like you're permanently part of the road. And though them vultures they fly, they just keep telling lies, 'cause they're saying that you ain't got a soul. So will I see you on the other side? Hey, where do we go when we die? Ooh, yeah, they get you with a smile. Hey, where do we go when we see you on the other side? Hey, where do we go when we die? Ooh, yeah, they get you with a smile. Hey, where do we go when we die? Up on the other side, singing for a while. Up on the other side, where do we go when we die? See you on the other side. Hey, where do we go when we die? Yeah, they get you with a smile. Hey, where do we go when we die? See you on the other side. Hey, where do we go when we die? Yeah, they get you with a smile. Hey, where do we go when we die?
That will conclude our broadcast of the Paranormal Journal podcast. Have a great night.